They say that it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at anything. Michael Jordan had 10,000 hours in the gym shooting the ball. Bill Gates had 10,000 hours programming computers. Joey Chestnut had 10,000 hours just eating hot dogs. And now they are all masters in their craft. Well, with that logic, I am a master of sword and magic because I probably played Skyrim for 20,000 hours. To be honest, I'm probably a master of sneaking and archery. That's a very niche joke. But that's just a huge investment in time and energy towards being the Dragonborn. But what if I took that and applied it to my true goals? That's what's happening in our gospel today. There is this dishonest steward who has been terrible at his job. But on the last day, he finally does something that's prudent. He goes to the debtors and gives them a deal that they may be friends in the future. And the master, seeing that he has been stolen from, actually praises him. Finally, you have a brain and done something that makes sense, something that's actually useful. And Christ adds, the children of this age are more prudent in dealing with their own generation than are the children of light. Then when it comes to things that ultimately don't matter, we are really good at making plans. Everyone here has a 5-year plan for their career. But who here has a 5-year plan for their spiritual life? Because what's more important? And where are we prudently pouring out our time and energy? I think that's why Skyrim was so attractive. Because it's really easy to move towards your goal. It's really easy to connect effort with progress. It's really easy to see the steps and take the steps to save Skyrim from Alduin the World Eater, or Mirak if you got the DLC. But what if I took that mindset and applied it towards my life? Instead of investing to become the Dovahkiin, I invest in myself to become the man or woman that I yearn to truly be. We all know there is just one reason to go to college, and it's not the food. We're all here for one reason, and it's not those letters that come after your name. They're rather letters that come before your name, the MRS degree. And the question before us today, am I going in that direction of my vocation? Do I have meaningful long-term goals alongside those possible short-term goals? Can I turn my real life into Skyrim, where I live like I'm in an RPG? RPG living is a realization that I can level up in life, that I can invest in myself to become who I want to be. And if I struggle in some area, that's okay. The struggle is actually part of the fun, because that's where I get to invest, get to grow, get to feel that sense of accomplishment, because you've gotten better. I could always level up. In seminary, there was a phrase, it ain't hard to be LeBron in this league. As priests, you show up and smile. People will say you're doing a great job. Well, in the dating world, it's not hard to be LeBron. Men, they say if you do only 20 push-ups a day, you can enter the top 10% of all men in just 2 months. If you stop drinking and take care of your body, the top 1% of all men. If you get nice clothes, comb your hair, go to the gym, just invest in yourself and level up like in Skyrim. If you get those short-term goals that lead to your long-term goals, you'll go far. Once you realize that your biggest ally and your biggest enemy is yourself, you can ask, am I helping myself or sabotaging myself? And how often do we sabotage ourselves? A few years back, there was a day on Twitter that was particularly nasty. And what set off this firestorm was a tweet that just had 3 letters. Someone posted a picture of Taylor Swift, and below there was this tri-letter response, M-I-D. Someone had committed the blasphemy of calling Taylor Swift mid. In response, someone said, I don't think men are attracted to real women. And I think that's the core of our issue. That men don't like real women, and women don't like real men. And the inverse, that our goals, expectations for ourselves are to be men and women that just aren't real. I'm trying to be someone that's impossible, some ideal that's not real, that can't be done, and all this pressure just destroys us. Our theme for this semester is authenticity, being fully yourself, contrasted with numbness and limerence. No one knows what that word means, limerence, so I'll define it today. Limerence is the psychological condition in which someone gets infatuated with the idea of perfection. We fall in love not with a real person, but with the idea of a person. And even should this person reciprocate affection, they fall short of the ideal, and we struggle. And then a new person or reality becomes the target of our limerence, and this cycle begins all over again. Get hopes up, encounter reality, despair. Get hopes up, encounter reality, despair. It's this debilitating obsession with a crush, this involuntary, uncontrollable addiction to receiving positive reaction from an unavailable love interest. It's when we yearn for the quick fix of fulfillment instead of the hard work needed to build up love. Hard work needed for myself in the relationship. Limerence is when you reject authenticity for fantasy. When you seek the unreal, perfect man or woman while trying to be the unreal, perfect man or woman. Instead of just being yourself, wounded yet loved. And seeking a partner who too is wounded yet loved. A relationship that's not perfect, but on that daily path towards perfection. Not some relationship based upon the ideals of the world. Oftentimes, those ideals can be defined with just one word. Will this look cute on Instagram? I use hyphens. But looking cute together on Instagram does not correlate to long-term happiness. Looks, money, power. Guess what happens after a year? They become normal. You don't care anymore. And limerence pops its head up and you want more. But what does correlate to long-term happiness? Honesty, flexibility, generosity of soul, a growth mindset. But the question, is that where we are seeking to invest in ourselves? Are we wasting our energy on things that ultimately don't matter? In the gospel, Christ says, if you are faithful in small things, you'll be faithful in great things. Because the little things, that's what forms the heart. Little things like commitment, just showing up, reveals you have perseverance. Being honest, not telling meaningless lies, reveals integrity. Practicing gratitude, it reveals a full heart. They reveal something deeper. And that deeper reality is the most attractive quality a man or woman could possess. You ready for this? It's non-neediness. Non-neediness. People have plenty of baggage. They don't want more. They don't want your baggage. And that in order to be ready to date for marriage or enter any vocation, you have to have a wholeness to you. Would you say to your beloved, I don't need you, but I choose to be with you? That I don't need you, but I choose to be with you. That I am a gift in of myself, and I give myself fully. And you are a gift, and I receive you as a gift. That wholeness is so attractive. Another word for wholeness is holiness. I think of one of the greatest days of my life. Back in college when I got a phone call saying I was accepted to seminary. Yay. But the great part was later that afternoon. I had ballroom dance class. We had a PE requirement at Butler. And it was just so fun dancing with all these lovely ladies, knowing I was off the table, that I had a wholeness, and I didn't need these ladies to fulfill me. They were just friends that I could enjoy the moment with. But in that moment, I had this wholeness that was just so liberating. I'm sure all those ladies wanted to date me, but they couldn't have me. The saying goes, God gets the best, women get the rest. I remember in that moment just thinking, if only I had known this earlier. If only I knew how non-neediness makes it so easy to grow and just have fun. If only I knew having this wholeness makes me attractive. If only I had treated my life like an RPG, where I joyfully invest in spots of weakness to become more fully myself. For this week, I have 2 tips about how to live your life like an RPG. Tip 1. Oftentimes what holds us back is not having clear goals. It's just having everything in front of me and no marker saying do this or do that. So this week, make those goals. Ask, what are my long-term goals? Are they meaningful? Do they motivate me to move, to get out of bed and enter into the grind? Write down your goals and place them somewhere you'll see them every day. Okay? Now ask, what small steps lead me there? Steps that are measurable and obtainable. Think like an RPG. What do you need to work on? And how will you invest in it? Having a clear goal, it makes it easier. Because if you don't have a clear goal, what happens? You get overwhelmed. A book I read said that when men get overwhelmed, they tend to detach. Whereas when women get overwhelmed, they tend to try to just control everything. That's why men struggle with depression. They're detached too much. Women struggle with anxiety. They try to control too much. So when you notice this in your life, this anxiety or depression, this tendency to limerence or numbness, just recognize it. Then look to your goals and say, okay, I'm going to take one of those small steps today. I'm going to follow through it because I know where it will lead me. And it leads me where I want to go. Tip 2, in a few weeks I'll be hosting a dating talk, Dating 102. I gave this talk last Valentine's Day and got great feedback from those that showed up. So I wanted to give it this first semester to give people time to implement the ideas and strategies about how to date. So if you feel too awkward to date, congrats. You are a normal college student who is not taught by your parents the most important aspects of life. Congrats, the world changed so rapidly. If your parents did try to help you, they would not have anything good to say. The phrase is that it's not your fault, but it is your problem. It's not your fault, but it is your problem. It's not your fault that it's harder to form relationships, but it is your problem to make those. So come to my talk. I'm doing a lot of study and research to find the way to date in our modern world. I think it's really good. And you can ask people that went last year and they'll say it was good. So mark your calendars for October 10th. Save the date to learn about how to date. It takes 10,000 hours to master any one thing. But the question, are we putting that time into mastering that which is most important in life? Mastering relationships with God, relationships with the opposite sex, relationship with self. Because until we are able to overcome limerence and numbness, we'll be stuck doing that which does not work. So invest your energy into not some fantasy, but invest it into the life given to you by God. And become that whole gift of self, the gift our world needs. God bless.